him turns the inside out to no, the inside out to outside and doing in short term. Ugh. He's disgusting. He's a filthy animal, and I don't think she gave him consent. I don't care if she was low down, hold down at the barn. What would she benefit from sleeping with him? He's a monster, and he should have went to jail. Okay. So we're an hour and a half, well, hour 15 minutes into this live. I think we're gonna be here for just another. We're gonna make this a full 2 hour live. This is gonna be our third subject. This subject is something for you guys to think about. It's been a trend, or it's not a trend. It's some things that's going around the internet that's really making me think, and a few people. There's been a lot of changes going on, and it's not just our laws, government, the war shit. I mean, talking about psychological, something is going on about with people. And I'm going to say this too, with me as well. Let me give you an example. I just told you guys that there were two major things that happened in Atlanta. There was a chemical explosion in the Covington area, and there was also the hurricane that was terrible. And it didn't only happen in Atlanta, it actually happened. Let me take it off the screen for 1 second. It actually happened in all over kind of Georgia, down to the Savannah, Strasburg area. My daughter was actually I got it. She's been out of school since then. The school's going to open back up the 7th. Half the campus was out of electricity, just a bunch of shit. And guess what? The next day, nothing. Meaning that it didn't even really affect me. And I had to say to myself, this is what made me say, like, what the hell? Am I turning like an AI? Like, have no compassion? Like, not compassion, but it's like we so numb because so much shit has happened that we can't react all the time. And literally, the unnormal, it is the normal. So what made me realize this today is a problem. And I know I'm very mindful of shit. So if I'm going through it, y'all ass is going through it too. I was supposed to do an event in Atlanta today, and it was canceled. I'm like, what the? Why was it canceled? It's a beautiful day. We about to be out there, and they was like, well, the chemical explosion happened, and it's been a warning about the air quality, the water quality, and it's still a warning in certain areas. They canceled it because people were asking for their refund and stuff, and it probably wasn't a good event. And I thought to myself, what the fuck is wrong with you, Grace? You didn't even realize that it was a chemical explosion because it wasn't right in your face. Even with the tornado, I got blessed in this little area where we just had our lights out for a little while. But I think most people do this shit where things such so tragic is happening, and we have such a cognitive dissonance. There has been some things that changed. Tell me that I'm tripping. I'm a real person. Tell me that I'm tripping and that you don't find yourself like, even just before I play this video, even the Trump assassination. I know y'all not Trump lovers, or people are, they not, whatever it may be. But that's literally an ex-president who got almost assassinated twice. And I don't even think about it a day in my life. I don't. I don't think about having it. Is like it don't apply. I don't know what happened. Oh my God, it happened that day. We did our live and keep it moving. Are we turning into cyborgs? Are we turning into cyborgs? Let's listen to this young man. Now, this is a young man. He's a Gen Z. And Gen Z suffered a lot through this COVID thing. I mean, Ovid thing. Because my daughter and my son, basically, well, they were homeschooled anyway. So they didn't suffer like all the other students, because I already had them homeschooled. But the ones who had the homeschool, they felt like they lost so much of their childhood, all types of stuff. And then there's another perspective from this. People who had to stay home from work, a lot of them found themselves. A lot of them figured like they figured out they hated their jobs. I was one of the people who I figured that out before the COVID. I was through with the shit, and it got worse. And I was like, I gotta change my profession. But this was some of the things that this 2020 shift have done. So I just want to have a conversation with the family to see, tell me what you have noticed. We're going to listen to this young man, and we're going to kind of just, react or give our commentary. Let me know what you think.
What's good with y'all? Alter Ego Sean. Hope y'all doing well. Tapped in. I advise y'all to start taking walks too. Really good for your mental. But the video today is about things have not been the same since 2020. You look at any aspect of life, you look at working, we all work, you know, you look at relationships, we all have different relationships. Um, you look at the future, um, just being optimistic about your future. Nothing has really seemed the same. And I don't know why that is exactly. I think something that has to do with it is we all were able to, for at least a half a year, sit at home every day and kind of see,
Mm-hmm.
man, like I'm working my life away. Man, I really don't see my family as much as I should. Man, bro, I think so many people came to the realization of so many different things during that.
Let me know what was some of y'all realizations, because as I told you, I agree with this young man. My realization was that I was not happy, like at the bedside. I love what I do, but the politics, the working like a slave, the risk. I was like, yo, I'm not happy. This is what you made me get into, God. Like, this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. And a lot of people feel like that. And being able to stay home and reflect and then look at their family, spend time with them, really kind of open people's eyes that something was missing from being human, the humanism.
That can I say? I'm not even going to try it, but during 2020, when we had to kind of just be away from everyone, and it's crazy because 4 years later, nothing really seems the same. Um, and I don't think people really talk about it. You know, we're in another pandemic right now where people just don't want to work, and people want to say it's Gen Z or it's just younger people. It's older people who don't want to work too. It's older people who are tired of being sick and tired, you know. And
And why people are sick and tired? Because it's who govern in these places that we're working at. I don't think people intentionally got into a career or whatever they did because they hated it. I love nursing. The system has made the fucking job miserable. And I know a lot of people feel like that. That's why it was such a big uptake around that time when Trump was in the office and the COVID was going, where people was like, I'm starting my own business. I'm starting my own business. You see what I'm saying? This was some of the fuel to that as well.
it's kind of leaving everyone with the question of what now? Well, what do I do now? I know this isn't what I want to do. What do I want to do now? Dating. I don't know if y'all are married, y'all have been with people, been with someone for a while. Dating has not been the same since 2020. Now, a lot of that has to do with where we're at socially,
Yep.
just men and women. It's like we're on two completely different spectrums. But pre 2020, dating was normal, bro. You could look at someone and be like, I can see a future with them.
Yep.
You can't do that anymore.
It's sad. It's sad that he's saying that and he's so young. He's like 20 years old. Where we as a society has been so disconnected from each other from as men and women, period. And not knowing our roles or whatever society say we could be the best we could be. We're not even in balance with each other, and that's what makes creation. And it's true. I mean, I'm gonna just say I'm not a big dater, and I've been saw this is because I saw the way that people are. I'm old school. I'm an old soul, so I like to be courted, um treated like a lady. Not saying like, oh, I don't do my thing, like all the men take care of everything, but a lot of the people my age too, they don't have that courting skill. They don't, it's all about basically just kind of stunting, getting together, just doing shit. It's not a genuine connection where it's like I know you, you know me. When you out, I know that's my man is good. Or we have such a human connection. That's when you know when something happened or something is going on with somebody, you just pick up the phone and call. A lot of our natural human connections is literally gone. And I don't know if this because we had to be in the house, you know, but something has changed. So I think I can agree with him possibly that it did get worse. I can't say that from, example because I'm not dating and I'm okay with that. And it's sad. And that's why I say to myself, damn, you numb. You don't even give a damn about dating because the perspective of the way we look at men, the way society has men acting and the whole thing. We're not balanced. We're not on the same level. We're not on the same wavelength. You see what I'm saying? It's society got us thinking real fucked up, and it's sad. And I'm giving you examples because I'm putting myself in the shoes and like, damn, am I a cyborg like these motherfuckers? I'm not even moved. God, I want to still have feelings. Feelings.
Um,
Let's finish listening. A lot of people don't have feelings. You don't. It's cool. Yeah, it's true. You can't even. I'm gonna be honest. Let him finish talk. You can't even have a friendship. It's hard to meet people and you establish a real friendship because they're not genuine. It's literally what I can get out of you or what how you benefit me. And if you don't benefit me, I don't got nothing to talk to you about. Or my life is so this, so that. I don't care about your feelings. You have conversations with people, they just they don't even listen. They literally in a conversation just to talk. You could be pouring out your heart like this was going on, da da da. The person quiet as hell. Then all of a sudden, like, yeah, that happened with my cousin and that happened with me and da da da. When people are like that, they severely fucking disconnected. When they can't even be human to your situations and your problems, be mindful of the people that you keep close to you. Your family members, some of them are like that. And that is, I think the motherfuckers are cyborgs. They don't care. We don't have the human compassion. This is what I'm seeing here. We lost some shit. I'm just keeping the real.
the future. I want you to honestly think. Now, I'm in a different boat. I am pretty optimistic about my future, but when you think about life, do you really think 5 years from now? It's like something weird where you can't even really like think long term because it's almost like I don't even know what will happen by then. You know, it's like it's hard to think about a future if you don't think the world has one. Like I don't know, man. Like I can't see like it'll be 2025 in a couple months. In 5 years, we'll be in 2029 and it'll always almost be but basically in 5 years, it'll be 2030. Do you really do you guys really see a world in 2030? Like can you look 5 years from now and be like, this is where I'll be?
And this is a real conversation that we need to have. This is not a gloom or doom type of conversation. This is a conversation that we really need to have as society of what direction are we going. And one of those concepts we got to keep in mind is that our direction as a nation is being pulled by political nonsense. It is for real. Everything that happened over these last couple of years that I think that actually led us down the path of being almost, what do they call it, MP3s? That's what my son called it. No emotions, no connections, don't care about people. Is literally all of these disasters and the things that they have shown us. We have went from Hurricane Katrina. That was one of the worst. It was terrible, Hurricane Katrina. And from there, it's like 9/11, Hurricane Katrina, these very, very traumatic things, and the way that our government actually responded to them. We're having that happen right now in North Carolina, where our government is not responding to the people who got affected by the hurricane. These are this is part of the hope system that Americans have about the American dream, that we pay taxes, that our government is going to take up for us, they're going to hold us down when the disasters happening. So you saw the ovid happening. Each president that comes in has their own agenda for some type of war. It is setting the tone in America where we're turning into cyborgs. That's literally, and it's funny with me because I told you I get it two ways because that me as a nurse I can't even be reactive. Like I like it to be here and talk because that's what because I can't even be reactive. Should be up down. And I just be having to be like, all right, this da 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 da, boop boop boop, CPR CPR CPR, da 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 da. Let's go next bed, next person. Na na na. What the hell is that? This system is turning us into cyborgs. That's what I'm hearing here. And that's why I like the fact that I have this platform and I can have these conversations that is not typical, that we can start thinking outside of the box, being self-sufficient, start looking at the issues and maybe coming up with a plan because you got to figure out what the hell going on first. Like, damn, we did change. I am a little numb. I am not empathetic. Somebody fall, I just be like, I know that I'm not just saying me, but I'm just giving y'all example. That's showing you that we're losing humanism. And humanism is growth with creativity, being you, not living in fear every day. Our system have us in fear and some drama. That's why I always tell my adults and residents, my babies, the ones I love, yo, take a break. I even take a break because you keep having all this nonsense and rigmarole, and that's just adulting thing. Then you focusing on the election, and then you seeing Trump getting this, and you seeing the stuff about Kamala, and then you seeing these tornadoes. That shit puts something in you that make you kind of lose hope for humanity or lose hope. And it's sad that our young friend person right here literally like can't see a future in 5 years. So we having these conversations because this could be your young individual, and that's why we have these people who is societal or societal. Does that make sense? Because they're not seeing no future, and we can't depend on our system to fix it. That's why I'm like, when I talk about here, I don't care about her fucking services. I but really don't. The services is not going to do anything. If it's grassroots, something that we could put together and make it happen and take away that money from where it's coming from, that's what I'm down for because I think that's the only way we're going to have some build some more morale because we're losing morale. We're losing morale for many things, and this young man hit it on the head.
Or this is where the world will be, or I can't, you know, maybe I'm that way because like the past year I've kind of seen you can plan all you want, but really you don't have any say at the end of the day. You know, you can plan to be somewhere in a year, but you don't really have any control of that. You don't
Yep.
know what's going to happen tomorrow. How do you know what's going to happen a year from now?
And I'm going to stop right here. That's something that I want to talk to you guys about too, because that's something that's been a struggle with me. Please hit the like button. I know a lot of you guys have this issue. The unknown can be very scary, especially seeing it's like the cars are tumbling down around you. Everything around you is death, problems, issues, money, economy, and it plays on your soul. And he says basically about having control and not knowing what's going to happen. And I want to share this with you guys. Having faith is the ultimate key for a remedy to what he's talking about. You're never going to know what's going to happen. And I had to learn that. I'm learning that every day because I'm a light, with the quality assurance, the evidence base. I like to know research. I want to know what the hell going on. I make my plans. Don't just come tell me to do this. That's why I like nursing because I give my patients and I'll be out, do my own thing. Don't bother me. Don't talk to me. I do. So that's a control thing. But obviously, you see, we have no control of what's going on around us. How the hell are we going to keep our mind right in the middle of that? How are you doing that? Let me know how you're doing that outside of living in a fantasy world or using cognitive dissonance. Like this ain't happening. I don't want to talk about this. It's some things that's happening that I can't even begin to talk about that I want to because I know it's going to fuck me up emotionally. Like the hangings that has been happening, like the truck driver was found. These type of things is going on. These are some of the things that really bothers me. And I'm gonna tell you, if it's things that really bothers you, I'm gonna ask you to separate from it for a little while so you could keep your mind and your integrity and your faith. That's real. They're overstimulating us with all of this bullshit, and we're overstimulating ourselves as well. So I highly recommend that people take the time to take care of yourself. Okay, that's why I push health and wellness, because it has to be you, and that can happen passively by eliminating some of this shit. Because when he say this make me feel bad. I'm like, damn, you don't see 5 years from now. That's something for me. I do see 5 years from now. I don't give a damn, because I have faith, and I will hope all my Levi family and Dalton too have faith. You have to have a radical ass faith that that you're gonna win, that everything is gonna work out well. I really, really feel some type of way, because if we all start to live in gloom and doom, God gonna come down in judgment and fuck shit up fast. I'm just saying, Jesus Christ is gonna come real fast. So you better be ready, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Let's finish listening to what he's saying, because I want to give some suggestions to this, because I understand how he feels. It's hard, especially when you used to having control of shit. You don't know what could happen, and something else come, you in school, enroll, shut down. Just like I was telling you, my daughter, shut down, no school. This shit is just living on adrenaline. We're living on adrenaline, and that is unhealthy, people.
What I'm saying is more so I can't even picture a world in 2030.
Damn, that's
You
bad.
know, like, I remember I was in high school and I could picture myself when I was 25. I could picture myself when I was 21. You know, like when I was 18, I could picture a world 5 years. Like I can't do that anymore. Like I have no idea where I'll be when I'm 31. And it's only been that way since after 2020, bro.
Shout out to Arlene. I agree with you.
We're living in such weird times. Like, just think, man. These times are so weird. We just had the presidential election last night, and it was almost like I want to be optimistic about the future, but we're living in such weird times. It's almost like we have to be realistic at the same time. Like I want y'all to think about something.
We're gonna finish off with
All
this.
right, it wasn't even was it maybe 2 months ago Donald Trump was almost assassinated. Who talks about that? Have you heard anyone talk about that? It's like it happened, and then a week later we forgot about it.
And that's what's been going on. We just be waiting for the next shit. And that's a coping mechanism, because if we don't and we compile all of this, we'll literally like have a heart attack. I understand what people are doing, but you have to be mindful of what is being done to us, and you don't want to detach from humanity, because that's what the hell they trying to do. People don't have love for each other. It's a dog eat world. Me and my kids talk about that. Maybe we just goody goody. We did star kids, whatever the fuck we supposed to be. This ain't right by the way we live. Oh, that's just the way it is. Like, even with like the YouTube thing, you can't have a friend out here on YouTube. They with you today, gone tomorrow. Why the fuck is it like that? You can't have a friend at work because it's competition. They want your job. You shit like that. Do you see what I'm saying? We are inhumane. Now, this is one more thing I want to share with you guys. I found this interesting. Why nothing has felt real since 2020. Now, this is from another person's perspective. Cole hashtag. So this is the most played part in this. We're just gonna play that. He's gonna talk about kind of about like development as teenagers develop, and it's kind of highlight what our teenagers went through and us. Because as I tell people, I feel like us as Americans, and you could say you feel some way, we living in our second childhood. If it ain't funny entertainment, people don't want to listen. They don't give a fuck about it really. We got to crack jokes. We got to do shit to get people attention. People seek entertainment after all of what I just talked about. When you get out of work, you want to go watch TV, drink a beer, go to the bar, go watch the game. Some people want to go on vacation. They was just talking about how people just crave to go on vacation. These type of things. We look for entertainment. And I'm not saying that's not a good thing, because we're supposed to be happy, but that's our basis of our happiness. That's superficial shit. That's all we can look forward to. Nah, let's listen to this. Why young people aren't growing up.
15 to 21, you're going through what is commonly referred to as a coming of age. It's when you're no longer considered a minor and you're finally figuring out who you are and what type of path you want to carve out for yourself in the world. These are some of the most important years of your life, and I'm sure that anyone who is above these ages in 2020 can attest to that. So imagine that during your most developing years, when your hormones are changing rapidly, you're just learning how to communicate, how to be competent, confident, and create useful skills. The entire world shuts down, and the most amount of interaction you get from your peers is through tiny boxes lined in multiple rows of a Zoom meeting.
Let me show you how we
And while this is going on, I'm gonna not fast forward it on this commercial. He's saying at this time we're supposed to be building these skills in high school, learning how to communicate, getting ready for the world. When y'all was in high school, that shit wasn't happening unless you were that type of kid. It was all about memorization. Tell me I'm lying. Memorize, you could get an A. It wasn't about critical thinking. They have got us the same way now. We never matured unless you actually matured yourself. A lot of the stuff that I share with you guys, when I talk about it, like the history, when I broke that down the other day, I didn't learn barely none of that. I didn't learn none of that shit in school. About the Federal Reserve, about the Banking Act, about gold, about lobbying. They don't teach you that unless you go and you specialize in that area. We don't learn that. So I don't even think they prepared us correctly, especially when they took a lot of the hands-on, like, you know what I'm saying, like the technical stuff out of school, and they took civics. So I ain't to be, when he says this, they ain't doing the best job. That's why I'm really funny about these candidates that's going in, because they both want to fuck up the educational system that's already like hanging on by a thread. You have to self-teach yourself. You have to in the United States. Tell me I'm lying. Half of the kids that graduate can't even read or write. Okay? Let's go.
Hence, gauging emotional responses, being in a school environment, and cooperating with fellow humans are put on a halt. So, another reason that everything feels like a blur and many young people feel like they're not truly living is because we all feel like we're making up for lost time. I actually asked people in my self mastery school, which you can join by clicking the link in the description,
Don't be dropping no infomercial.
their opinions on the blurriness of life since 2020, and one of them explained what I'm trying to explain here better than I ever could. At least for me, it feels like 2 years lost with nothing to show for it. 2 years spent, lost, stolen. I'm 24 now, 4 years later, but because I have so little memory of those 2 years, aside from a dark smear of fear, anxiety, depression, and loneliness, I barely feel older than I was then. I still feel 20, maybe 21, but I'm not. And I'm expected to act now that 24 years, which is not the same as how a 21-year-old acts. It makes me feel too young, too old, and like I slipped out of time. And when I came back to my life, the person expected to live it isn't inside anymore.
Now, did y'all understand what he said? That make total sense. And I'm going to tell you this. I noticed that as a homeschool mom. That's why I was so glad that I could, the little that I could afford and get them out. Because if I didn't, there was some aspects within homeschooling that will actually stunt their growth. And it's very, very important that you get your kids an activity. And that's what even my son, I had him a karate, football, basketball. He still try to be a cyborg. No, I'm just playing. No, but he still shows these immaturity. And now that I had to stop the covering and put the fire to the metal and really like, listen, I don't know what the internet has shown you, but you got to get out there and work. Ain't shit coming to you. You can't sit here. You got to go build a skill. It ain't going to just pop up in your head. Okay? You have to go out there and try. And what ended up happening, because he was forced, because I said, shit, you think you're going to be in here not working? 20 years old? Talking about, I'm waiting for my business. It's my business. I want my business. I'm telling y'all the truth. I'm telling you the truth. So yeah, because I know somebody else going through it. When I forced him to say, listen, if you don't get a job and you're not in school, I can't cover you. You're going to have to get the fuck out. You want to just wait for your business and you got money, you can make these decisions. This was going to happen. His black ass said, I'm getting a job after spending one night outside in front of the house in the car. I'm not about to play with you. Knocked on the door, talking about, can I get my stuff? Yo, get your shit, go over there. And guess what? Now that he's working, the level of conversations that we having, the level where he's seeing things different as far as human interaction and personality, he's understanding more, and I'm seeing a level of growth. So when I looked at that, I was like, because he was acting like a fucking baby. Like, you bigger than me. You 20. You think you gonna sit up there in my motherfucking bed while your bed, excuse me, while I'm painting the ceiling? The fuck? Who taught these people this? The internet. So the internet didn't even only taught our kids to be lazy and dysfunctional. And AI, as I mentioned, AI is dumbing us down, even us as people. But it's stunning our growth too. Does that make sense? That's why we have to be hands on. We can't be into a socialistic type of world economy where everything's going to come to us. They're going to do for us. We entitled. No, you have to learn how to work hard to build those skills. And that's what our society is missing. And that's what our kids are missing. On top of the human interaction. That's why we don't have no empathy amongst each other. Literally, this is a tale of a psychopath. You see somebody getting beat up in the middle of the street and you got 10 people like this. Nobody's stopping it. Even with the George Floyd. Was it George Floyd? That's the one that had the cop on his neck. Somebody should have whooped that ass and caught some charges. I'm not inciting war or I'm not inciting riots. So you do. But what I'm saying, where I'm from, there's still some humanism. I don't even dare. You can talk about Haiti all you want. You can talk about Newark all you want. It's honor. We have turned into psychopaths. Keep it real. Tell me, am I lying? We having these conversations because I want to leave our family not to be psychopaths. I want us to be the changing conduits in your house, your job. You're going to stand out like a sore thumb. You're going to say shit that make people uncomfortable. But fuck it. What you got to have is faith. Okay? Have faith that you saying what's right and you trying to keep people fucking human. Excuse my language, because these people ain't human to me. You can't even meet people and trust them. It's sad. It's no honor. No honor amongst thieves. Everybody's a damn thief.
Stolen, I think, is one of the best words for it. People in their teenage years and young 20s got their formative years stolen from them, and now they're making up for lost time. But making up for lost time is now harder than it should be because they didn't develop the skills that they were supposed to develop at that age. Right. The best way I could put it, if I could sum it up into one sentence, is that we have a bunch of 16 to 18-year-olds trapped in 20-something-year-old bodies. And that disconnect between how old you are and how old you feel is greater than ever. Add that developmental postponement on top of the fact that it takes longer to become financially stable and afford things than in the past, which is clearly exemplified in how many more 20-year-olds are choosing to live with their parents. And we now have a society full of teens trapped.
Look at that. This is how many 20-year-olds and 25 to 29 that still live with their parents. This was up to 2014, though. This don't say 24. The number keep going up. It was high in 1940, but that was just around the Gold Confiscation Act. When the Federal Reserve took that money, took the gold, switched it. Remember I was talking about that? When I look at 1934, I remember that. That's one thing I was sticking my damn head. That was the transition of our economic system. And look where everybody was living at home. And then we got credit. Credit started building in. Then credit started imploding. But these are some of the things that's holding our younger generations at home. But I'm going to leave on this note because I don't want to get too much into this, but I did want to have this conversation with you guys. This is the same thing that's happening to our adults. Okay? You see how he say basically 24-year-olds feel like they're 16 or 18. I believe our adults, people my age, like Tiffany Henry talking about she young. You ain't 28. You believe you the new 28. Then you got the 50-year-old Dalton resident, 60, acting like who done it out there screaming and yelling about the fight. Talking about, she said she's gonna shoot me. I'm gonna call that shit out. That shit is immature. That shit is inhumane, and that shit is stupid. We got to do better. We're gonna have these conversations here. I know it's making you a little uncomfortable, but we will grow because I'm pretty much sick of it. And I know that at the end of the book, basically it says we win. I'm going to be honest. God people win, the people who believe in goodness, wholeheartedness. And if you are on two sides and you're not practicing in that, you're not going to survive these times that we're in. We're in fucked up times. I'm going to keep it real. A reason why I thought this conversation is very important because doing all the shit that we're going to definitely talk about here and all these other content creators talk about or what they've been blackballed about talking about, that shit will have your heart cringing. Just like we just talked about the gentleman who was found with the rope next to him, the trucker. This is something that I want to talk about. This is a fucking problem. And it can make you feel very cringy, really make you feel like, damn, we don't have no hope in society. But the hope actually starts with you. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be a cornball at the end of this. It starts with you, your perspective. Because one thing that taught me in Newark, I grew up, and this is what they said. This is what my nursing teacher told me. If you grow up in guns and people shooting over your head, you're never going to reach self-actualization. I'm sorry, that's the video I'm going to put on. You're never going to reach self-actualization. Excuse me. Y'all know I got a heavy tongue, so shut up. That's the top of the Maslow hierarchy of needs. So they're saying if you're fighting for food, these people shooting around you, your safety is compromised, you're never going to reach bliss. That is the highest level. And they're keeping us down there because we're looking for food, resources, and all types of stuff. And you know what that teacher told me? She said, if you living like that, you ain't going to reach the top of that hierarchy and you ain't going to pass nursing. Me and all my hood chicks, it was a Spanish girl, American girl, my Haitian ass. We looked at each other. They said, did this just say that we about to fail because we live in Newark and they shooting over our motherfucking heads? Oh, no. We about to kick ass, and that's what we did. We graduated at the 90 percentile. I was at the 92 percentile. That same person who was kicked out, same person who was told that you ain't going to do good because of where you from. That was a learning lesson for me. And the reason why I'm sharing that with you, because where we're at, the whole society is Newark. The whole society is Haiti. And because I have so much, went through all of that, I think that I'm a great conduit to help give y'all some light to say that you could do it, have hope in humanity, continue to practice kindness. Yes, kindness. Be genuine. It's okay to be loyal. You don't always have to use people. You can't plan your future without being dependent on people. Work together and stop depending on this motherfucking government. And that's all I got to say. I'm coming back at 10 o'clock. I'm going to be doing the special on Woody versus Charleston White. I can't stand Charleston White. Okay? That's going to be part of our Atlanta news special. That's what's trending right now. We're going to be coming back at 10 o'clock. If you're interested in that type of commentary, hit me up. Thank you for being here with Grace Levi. Y'all know what I do. I'm going to split all of this up. If you like my commentary, hit the like button. We coming in sucker free. We don't give a damn what the demons are doing. We here shutting shit down, and we're getting ready for the next level. Because guess what? We win in the end.
It all belong to you, sick on fear and trembling. Lord was found perfect, out of waters help. Obedience bring righteousness, the Father felt. And man, you not walk with him, put his will first. Stay humble in this relationship, we still dirt. The covenant, the Holy Spirit, it belong to him. Psalms 18 and 6, he be a phone to him. It hit different when we understand we all ready. Are you a servant or a highly? You know the difference. The 24 elders know why we existed. Our blockers in your presence gon' give us a sentence. You the judge, everlasting life, complete the mission. Finish the course, keep the faith, y'all stop sinning.
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around. With your broke ass.
I could not be here breathing and be comfortable if I was really as bad as they was making it. Nobody could be around me. So for me to be this calm, I must have some kind of inner peace. And my inner peace is knowing that once everybody take the time to really see what type of person I am, you'd be surprised that I stuck around this long. I have to make the life that I do live as happy as I can and try to do the best with what I have. Live the best life I can live, be as happy as I can be. Nothing is perfect for anybody. I don't know.
Boys, I swear, I think I figured it out. You know why they don't want us redneck brothers and sisters and the hood brothers and sisters getting along? You know why? Because we'd be unstoppable. I'm telling you right now, we would shut shit down.
The real estate market often seems like a distant world where only an elite of experts is successful. In a time of so much uncertainty in the air and bad news, realist investing can seem intimidating. But today, I want to tell you that if you make the right decision today, you can enter the real estate market from the back door. Bad credit record? No credit at all? Do you dread the idea of having a home loan? Do you dream of owning investment properties? You are in the right place and right time, because we have created a program which is a tax lien and deed investment online course of only 14 hours. This course is specially designed for people like you who have big dreams. You will learn at your own pace and everything from your home computer. This is your chance. Join our membership for $19.99 a year. What are you waiting for? Visit our website primetimehomebuyerBuyback.org and sign up today for course access.